Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, when it comes to projecting America's power, I've said many, many times that North Carolina is the tip of America's spear. When our country calls, it's a safe bet that the first responders will be United States Marines from Camp Lejeune, our paratroopers from the 18th Airborne Corps stationed down at Fort Bragg. The 18th Airborne is America's global response force. When called, units of the 18th Airborne can be anywhere in the world within 48 hours. Because of this unique mission, unique to Fort Bragg and the 18th Airborne, Pope Army Airfield is the busiest tactical airfield in the armed forces. Unfortunately, Pope is also the home of the shortest runway in the Army. If the 18th Airborne is put on alert, C-5 and C-17 aircraft are needed to launch the force, and they can't depart fully fueled with a full load of paratroopers and equipment off of the airfield. The current Pope Army Airfield runway only provides 8,500 feet. But if you're going to take off in a C-5 or a C-17, you're going to need a minimum of 10,500 feet. And for a C-5, you're going to need 11,500 feet. The Air Force's air refueling fleet is already stressed. The C-17s, the C-5s that are used to carry out the Global Response Force mission have to actually leave Pope Army Airfield with full of equipment and paratroopers, but only about 60% of their fuel capacity, which requires them to either go to Charleston, South Carolina, or Gander, Newfoundland to get refueled so that they can continue their mission. One refueling stop for an airlift coming out of Pope at Gander, Newfoundland costs $17,000 per hour. If 53 aircraft, that's roughly the number that's required to outload the heaviest brigade combat team, they have to refuel at Gander, and that fleet would cost about $2 million because they can't be fully loaded when they take off from Pope Army Airfield. This refueling stop adds also 2.5 more hours to the time on the mission, and the mission objective is to be anywhere in the world in 48 hours. Prior to the last round of Bragg, extending the Pope runway to accommodate fully loaded C-17 and C-5 aircraft was Air Mobility Command's #1 airfield project. The United States Air Force also said that it was their #2 project. However, this has fallen off the Army's priority list, and I'm not really sure why. Madam President, extending the Pope runway to accommodate the airlift requirements of the Global Response Force and the 18th Airborne Corps is a national strategic priority. Therefore, I'll be offering an amendment to the National Defense Authorization Act during markup, which requires the Army to report to the Senate their plans to extend the runway at Pope and whether or not it is a top priority for the Army. I think our paratroopers need to know it. I know our taxpayers need to know it. And more than anything, I want to make sure that when we deploy the proud men and women from the green ramp at Pope Army Airfield, we do it loaded and ready to go wherever they need to go in the United States or around the world. Thank you, Madam President. I yield the floor.